Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I am really excited to be bringing you my team building analysis for week 3 of season 2 of the Pokemon Premier League D1. Yes indeed. Now, we've got off to a good start this season. We are currently sitting at 2-0 with a +3 differential. It's looking good. Some of the mons that we expected to do work haven't really. Some of the mons who were sort of dubious picks for some people have put in nothing but the finest. Now, this week is going to be very tough. Because this week, Parasect Germain are taking on RhyQuinn and the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. Now, Rhy has not had the best of starts to the season. He is currently sitting at 0-2 with a -3 differential. However, I am not taking anything for granted. He may be a very good friend of mine, but he's also a fiercely competitive and very competent battler. And the team he's got is fairly spooky. So I'm going to go over the team that he has brought. You should be seeing them on the screen coming up in just a second. The team he can call on is as follows: RhyQuinn, Mew, Mamoswine, Whimsicott, Tentacruel, Darmanitan, Rotom, Hawlucha, and Doublade. Which is terrifying. Now, for a draft that was built up through him being sniped a lot, that has turned into a properly hyper-offensive, terrifying draft. RhyQuinn, Mew, Mamoswine, Darmanitan, Hawlucha, and the two new ones he's got. Doublade is a powerful setup sweeper. Rotom is just a really nice special attacking mon to have that can also go bulky. I'm actually quite scared of the Rotom. It's a new addition that can put in a decent amount of work against my squad and indeed the team that I'm going to be bringing. So what kind of things are we going to be expecting from Parasect Germain this week? Well, last week we faced off against Evelyn and Herdia Bremen. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've got a little bit of stick from the various Germans in the league for not saying that name right. Now her team is also very hyperly offensive. And I said when we were going against her that fighting fire with fire was not really going to work. I had to pack my team with defense. Now, whilst RhyQuinn also has a properly hyperly offensive team, it's a different beast altogether, because I don't have the walls to deal with his offense. Evelyn's team, slightly less ridiculously powerful. I could deal with them with lots and lots of bulk. Even if I pack lots and lots of bulk on this team, I can't deal with RhyQuinn's threats. They're too powerful. So I have to bring the fight to him. So, kind of things I'm expecting. RhyQuinn, I'm actually expecting physically defensive. Now I know that RhyQuinn is a very offensively minded mon, but it works really well against physical fire type attackers. We've seen Miguel Mega-Mogwai use it very effectively against Entei. There's no reason why it can't do the same job against Victini. Especially given that it's immune to Victini's other form of stab. Mew, if he brings it, I'm not quite sure what he's going to do. I feel like he might have enough bulk to deal with my offense to bring an offensive Mew of his own. So that could be scary. I'm going to really have to work out very quickly what his Mew is doing if he brings it. Mamoswine puts in an enormous amount of work against my team. I have walls to try and deal with it, but even so, Mamoswine doing damage early on could pave the way for something else to clean up, or vice versa. Mamoswine can clean up late game itself. So taking that out early is going to be very, very important. I'm fully expecting Adamant Life Orb. You know, that's the kind of optimum set. If he brings that along with Whimsicott with Tailwind, I am really, really in deep trouble. Especially if paired with Darmanitan, which I also expect him to bring. I expect him to bring Choice Darmanitan. I think that could put in a huge amount of work for him. But if he's bringing Whimsicott, I will be expecting Life Orb Darmanitan. Simply because with a Tailwind up, Life Orb Darm switching up its moves with a Life Orb and Sheer Force, that's not something anyone wants to go against. Not at all. And given the build-up of my team and some changes that have been made, I do expect Darm to be carrying the likes of Zen Headbutt to be hitting a mon that I've brought in, which we'll get onto in a bit. Rotom could be putting in an appearance. Hawlucha, I wonder if he'll be bringing Hawlucha. He's got like 4 really prevalent physical threats. Can't bring them all, like surely. He can't bring all of Mamo, Darm, Hawlucha and Doublade. I think the one that he'll drop for this would be Hawlucha, personally. That's what I'm thinking. With a very, very slight chance of Mamo just to try and catch me off guard, thinking that I'll over-prep for it. But I don't think he can afford to drop Mamo. So I'm looking at the likes of Hydreigon, Mamo, Tentacruel I think is very important for him. It's just another thing to try and take on Victini's V-Crates. Rotom, Deblade, and Darm, I guess. You know, it's difficult to pick out any single mon that he's not going to bring. So, what are we bringing? What's the Parasect Germain's team going to be? Well, I'll get onto it right about now. The first mon I'm going to be bringing is Victini. Lil Dun is back. It's 0-2 at the moment, but this time, for the first time, we're bringing Scarf Victini. It's very important to take the fight to RhyQuinn. Victini's going to be very important in that regard. We have gone max attack, 4 in special attack, max speed with a naughty nature, I think that is. Attack over special defense. Moves of choice: V-Crate, Zen Headbutt, Dazzling Gleam, and U-Turn. V-Crate puts the hurt on just so many things. You know, you don't mess with a positive-natured, max-invested V-Crate from a Victini. It just hurts. You know, it's a 3-hit KO, I think, on, like, physically defensive Hydreigon, which is what I think he's going to be bringing to take this on. That's why I have Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is a clean 2-hit KO, easily by any standards. Zen Headbutt, very nice for the likes of Tentacruel, who otherwise could do a decent job, and Horlucha. I've gone for Zen Headbutt over Bolt Strike because it can hit the Mamoswine on the switch if he predicts it. And it's also, you know, just nice to be hitting stuff like Rotom if he wants to bring that. U-Turn, just nice for getting initiative. If he wants to bring in Hydreigon on it, or God forbid he's in with Whimsicott or Rotom, I can try and bring it in, outspeed, go for U-Turn, get some nice damage there. So that's Victini. Second one we're going to be bringing is going to be Lil Sizz, the Scyther. And we've gone with another Eviolite set today, 32 in HP, 252 attack, 4 in defense, and 220 in speed. With a jolly nature, moves are going to be Bug Bite, Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, and Agility. I've gone Double Dance Scyther. Double Dance Scyther is terrifying. It can do a lot of work to the vast majority of his team, 2-hit KOing everything that isn't called Tentacruel or Deblade, I'm pretty certain. Now, do I think I'm going to get the chance to set up both? Probably not. But if I get the chance to set up one, I can kind of hedge my bets with where to go. If I think he's going into a Scarfer, I can go for the agility and outspeed pretty much any Scarfer he wants to bring. If I think he's going to go into a slower threat or something that I can outspeed, I can go for Swords Dance and just nuke it. The coverage of Bug Bite and Aerial Ace, really good, as I say. It hits pretty much everything on his team for super effective or at least neutral damage, other than that Deblade, who resists both of them. So Deblade, I'm going to have to get rid of that if he brings it. The other good thing about Eviolite Scyther is it can take hits, you know. It can't be OHKO'd by Ice Shard from Adamant Life Orb Mamo, and following that I believe it can take a neutral Shadow Sneak from Deblade. If Deblade is at low health, he wants to bring it in and try and get some damage off before I can do damage to it, you know, I can take both of those hits, which is going to be really nice for Scyther. If I can get Scyther set up, this is going to be a bit of an easier ride. Setting up on RhyQuinn's team is going to be very difficult. So, you know, that's why I've got two things. Not only because if I set them both up, I'm set to go, but if I can set one up, I can try and get myself an advantage in whichever one I go for. So, third member of the team is going to be Mega-Audino. I've brought Mega-Audino back, and this time we are going full physical defense with almost max investment in HP. And just the remaining ATVs thrown into special attack. Moves we are rocking: Wish, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Hidden Power Ground. I'm not running Cleric Audino. Can't afford to. I need Dazzling Gleam for stab, very important. Hidden Power Ground, I need to be able to hit the likes of Tentacruel, the likes of Darm, and indeed Deblade, if it comes down to that. I don't intend on leaving Audino in on probably any of those. But if it comes down to it, I need the coverage. It's why I can't afford to be running Rest Talk Calm Mind or Wish and Heal Bell. I can't do it. I need the coverage of Dazzling Gleam and Hidden Power Ground. Now, Mega-Audino, one of the only true counters that I've possibly got to an offensive Hydreigon. You know, it can tank hits. If I can get a couple of Calm Minds up, I'm even taking the likes of Flash Cannon. But the main thing is it can take on a defensive one very well. You know? I will outstall it if it's got Roost. I just have to pray that it's not packing Status. But I can outstall it if it's packing Roost. I can go for Wishes, Calm Minds, tank its physical hits. It can't phase me out with Dragon Tail, and I can be going for Dazzling Gleams. If he wants to go into the switch for something to resist Dazzling Gleam, I can be going for boosted Hidden Power Grounds. Audino could be very useful, especially if I can get nasty sort of taunting things out of the way. Admittedly, Hydreigon can be one of them, but I'm not too worried about that. I should just be going for Dazzling Beams against that. If I can get Audino set up with a couple of Calm Minds, I should be good to go. Except if he has the likes of Darmanitan. Darmanitan can still punch a hole in physically defensive Mega-Audino. So I made a transfer. The transfer window, for those of you who don't know, happens at the end of every couple of weeks. So end of week 2 there was a transfer window. And the order of that is based on where you are in the table. So I think I was picking 7th, I think I had 7th transfer. And I was worried about Darm, worried about Mamoswine, realistically, you know, rightly so. Then he brings in Doublade, I'm worried about that as well. And then I saw that there was a Mon I could grab, which can deal with all of them. Can't be done, you say? Yes, it can. So, how did I make room for this Mon on my team? Well, I'm afraid I dropped Furfrou. I know, you didn't want me to do it, but I had to. Furfrou seemed like a great idea at the time. Unfortunately, it's just, in reality, it's not as good as I wanted it to be. It's not taking the physical hits that I wanted it to take. So I'm afraid if you want to see Furfrou action, it's going to be up to Anima in the TBU to make best use of Furfrou. She's the only one who's got it left, I believe. So yeah, we don't have Furfrou anymore. But what we do have is the 4th member of today's team, Poliwrath. Yes, I brought in Captain Hammer, the Poliwrath. And this set is going to be max HP, max defense, impish nature, leftovers, water absorb with Waterfall, Ice Punch, Earthquake and Protect. Poliwrath takes any hit, any 2 hits I'm pretty sure, from Adamant Life Orb, Mamoswine. You can also take any 2 hits from Adamant Choice Banded Darmanitan, except for Zen Headbutt. This is why I have Protect. If he's going to bring an enemy, I'm going to scout him out. I'm going to make sure he doesn't have that Zen Headbutt. If he does, I'm going to have to take defensive action. If he doesn't, Poliwrath is pretty much safe. And I can fire off Waterfalls, I can try and predict switches and Ice Punch. The coverage he gets with Waterfall, Ice Punch and Earthquake can hit pretty much everything on his team neutrally. Mew could be a problem if it's physically defensive. It could be a problem if it's offensive, to be honest, you know. I'm not going to be staying with Poliwrath on a Mew. But, you know, pretty much everything else it can tank hits from. It's not taking too much from the likes of a Dark Pulse from Hydreigon, for example. Doublade, if it's at +4, it can't Oko, which is just fantastic. So, you know, it's my go-to thing for an out-of-control Doublade. Not that I can do too much back to it, but it's nice to be able to take a hit at least, and sort of buy myself some time if I need to. Poliwrath is not just a short-term fix, by the way. It happens to take on some of RhyQuinn's premier attackers very well, but looking towards the future, I see great things for Poliwrath. It offers my team something new, something interesting, something that can have various different applications depending on what I want to do with my team. So I'm happy to have Poliwrath on the team. So, 5th member of today's group is going to be my other water type. I'm bringing Empoleon. Empoleon is here, and we have gone specially defensive today. Max HP, max special defense, 4 into defense. Scald, Ice Beam, Stealth Rock, and Defog. Item is going to be a Sugarberry. So Empoleon is another one of my go-to things for an out-of-control Hydreigon. It can tank pretty much any hit. Am I expecting Focus Blast? No. Even if it's offensive, because I know that Rye does not like relying on things like Focus Blast, things like Stone Edge. He doesn't like doing it. He doesn't like risking the miss. I think if he's going to be packing something for Steel types, it's going to be Earth Power, which is why I have a Sugarberry. Sugarberry allows me to tank any 1 hit. If I didn't have it, I would be 2-hit KO'd, but I think with it, especially from a sort of bulkier Hydreigon, I can take 2 Earth Powers, one with a Sugarberry, one without. By that time, Ice Beam's going to be doing some really nice damage. Hopefully he's going to be trying to roost up, and I can go for Stealth Rocks. This is assuming that he is defensive. If he's offensive, Ice Beam's going to be doing even more, which is just fantastic. And with more Pride damage on it, I can then sort of go into Audino and work from there. Sugarberry is also going to be allowing me to take stuff like an Earthquake from Darm and retaliate with a Scald. Same thing for Mamoswine. I can live an Earthquake from Adamant Life Orb, which is again the set I'm expecting him to bring, and mess him up with a Scald, especially if I can get a little bit of Pride damage maybe get some rocks up as well, that's going to be absolutely fine. Empoleon's going to be absolutely clutch when it comes to defogging. I have Scyther and I have a hit and run Scarf Victini. I cannot have rocks on my side of the field, I just can't. It's vital that Empoleon gets those rocks out of there every single time. Because as I say, Scyther does not appreciate them, Victini does not appreciate them, and those two are really the kind of two that I'm looking at to do much of the damage for my team. So Empoleon's going to be really nice to get rid of those. It takes on his own spinner, at least to the point where it doesn't take much damage from it. I can't do anything back, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that is going to be Empoleon, nice and specially defensive. Final member of the team is going to be Mismagius. Bringing back Mismagius, and we are going with a really, really offensive set here. This is Sub-Nasty Plot Mismagius. With Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam, item is going to be a Salac Berry. We have got 44 investment in HP, 252 in special attack, and 212 in speed with a timid nature. What that speed investment allows me to do, much like with Scyther's investment, is outspeed offensive Mews. It'll allow me to do that, outspeed those offensive Mews if he wants to bring it, base 100. I'm also outspeeding, a lot of his other mons, because he's got a lot that are below base 100, which is always nice to go up against. The Salac Berry is so that I can then consequently outspeed anything he has scarfed. If Mismagius can get a sub up, get a nasty plot, get down to that Salac, I'm looking really good to go. Ghost and Fairy puts in a lot of work against his team. Fairy hits Hydreigon, and what else does it hit? Hawlucha as well. And Shadow Ball hits pretty much everything else. Tentacle is going to be a bit of an issue, but if I can get enough nasty plots up, I should be able to do some decent damage to that as well. It can also, Mismagius, take, I think, one Shadow Sneak from Doublade and try and fire off a big Shadow Ball in response, especially if I've got a nasty plot up. Even with a Varlite, Doublade's special defense is nothing to write home about. So hopefully Mismagius can put in a nice old shift here. And try and get another KO or two to its name. So that is going to be the team that we use. That is Parasect Germain for week 3 against Nidoqueens, Pot Rangers and RhyQuinn. I'm absolutely bricking it. Absolutely terrified of this matchup. He has the matchup, he has ridiculous offense, and he has so many options for offense to go with. And my walls are kind of shaky. They're not guarantees. If I had my old walls from Season 1, I'd be so much more comfortable with this matchup. But I'm not. And the odds are kind of stacked against us as far as omens are concerned. Last season we won our first 2 games and then lost our third to a team with Mamoswine. Last time we went up against a team with Darmanitan, we got absolutely destroyed. So the omens are not good. But we don't care about omens here. We're not superstitious. What's an omen? It doesn't even matter. Nothing that has happened before is going to impact what's happening now. Except for the fact that I've beaten RhyQuinn once before. Last time, we were merciless. This time, we're going to be equally as merciless. So RhyQuinn, we're coming for you. So that's the team that we're bringing. That's my thoughts on it and how I went into the team building with this gang of mons. So the battle, that's going to be going up tomorrow, so make sure you look out for that. It's going to be an absolute cracker, I'm certain of that. If nothing else, it's going to be a really fantastic battle. Always a pleasure to battle against RhyQuinn. Speaking of RhyQuinn, his links will be down in the description below. His Twitter and YouTube, do make sure you go and check that out. He's a lovely guy, he's got some fantastic content on his channel. I do a lot of recording with him. We do GBA D-League recaps, as well as Showdown Throwdown, a series which interchanges between our channels where we battle each other. So we're no strangers to each other as far as battling is concerned, which is going to make this an even better battle. But yeah, definitely do make sure you check out RhyQuinn's links. Speaking of links in the description, those to the PPL Twitter and YouTube will be down there as well. For all things PPL, to keep up with news, transfers, everything you need to know is down there in the description. So make sure if you want that, go and check out those links. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. But that's going to be it from me. I'm going to get out of here now. We're just coming up to 20 minutes of recording time. That's the team we're going with. Can we win it? Yeah, I guess. I'm not as confident as I have been in previous games. This is going to be a tough one, but I believe. Do you believe? You better believe. Keep supporting Parasect Germain, guys. We are going for the top. and it continues this time when we take out the powerful Nidoqueens Park Rangers and RhyQuinn. But I'm going to get out of here, so thank you all very much for watching, and I guess with that, I will see you all next time. Laters!